Alrighty. Hi everyone, I am Anginder. You might also know me as Alier of Wayrest, the Runaway Queen, the Thief, the Arms Dealer. I was in Daggerfall. So this was the next installment, Morrowind. I got bored trying to navigate and find the book quests, which I'm in. It's online, so rather than worry about that, I just went and grabbed the next installment. We'll check it out. Oh, hey Dad, what's up? My dad's Akatosh. What was Akatosh? He passed away, so... I suppose even though he's present in the scrolls in Tamriel, actually I don't think he's technically in Tamriel. Depends on how you think about it. Alright. Yes, sweetie, you can help me place it down. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Howard, each event is preceded by prophecy, but without the hero there is no event. I would tend to disagree with that. In the waning years of the third era of Tamriel, a prisoner born on a certain day to uncertain parents, was sent under guard without explanation to Morrowind, ignorant of the role he was to play in the nation's history. They choose a different, if you're not familiar with the series, they choose a different country for it to play in every time, much like The Witcher.
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Wake up.
I'm awake.
We're here.
Where's
Why
here?
are you shaking? Are you okay?
I'm hungry for more
Wake
donuts.
Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name?
Bob. Oh, you're serious. I go by Bob Hope online, just in case I get any stalkers.
Not even last night's storm could wake you. I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
I also
Quiet.
feel sure.
Here comes the guard. This is where you get off. Come with me.
WNS, A and D, side to side, mouse looks around. Got it. I really hated the old navigational interface where you did use the mouse. Their cursors were a trial to me during the first two games, and I did mention that I was glad to see they moved on from it. From the beginning, Mr. Howard knew, that something was going on with first-person gaming, that perspective, and sure enough, Ultima, when they called the old creator, jumped on that bandwagon and so on.
Deck, and let's keep this as civil as possible.
Is there a reason that I should be uncivil? Go to the hatch and press spacebar. Spacebar opens. Got it. So obviously this was something he explored. Now he stayed open world. They're being compared to The Witcher a lot just because the fan bases crossover. Because of the
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
quests, etc. They're clearly trying something different with the graphics here. You'll see that in a lot of
Let's
the
go.
reason
Move
that
it along.
TES has such rabid fans is because they always tried
You
to
finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
make the technology. So, for instance, this was prior to World of Warcraft Online. This sort of thing was pioneering it. So obviously, you can see where the graphic design didn't quite mesh with the engine that they were using, and so it was patched on. And they didn't have that smoothness because the technology was literally not there yet. Now, obviously, since then, everybody's done it, so everybody has one that's more and more and more functional, whereas back here, this was still, right at the edge of indie gaming. They were just sliding into what would be considered a mainstream budget. So they definitely had to work within their means. Oh my. Oh, that was just F all. I'll be an Argonian. Screw it. I'm a chick Argonian. I think that's a chick. It's kind of hard to tell with them. What do I want to look like? Here we go. Wait, am I a dude Argonian? Is this a chick Argonian? I feel like it is. I have pretty hair stuff, or head stuff. We're gonna do this. I want water breathing because I drown frequently. I got skills, bonuses, athletics, extraordinarily.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in.
I
Follow me up
also
to the
think
office and they'll finish your release.
ginormous lizards fit right in. Especially ones that are named the wolf. I like to be as misleading as humanly possible. I'm trying to reinvent the platypus. Too many insectoid cultures around. Oh right, I probably get spacebar, huh? The loading area. So yeah, you can actually see the mechanics. The reason TES has such rabid fans is because if you played these games, especially, you know, like they're saying, oh, TES 6 is going to take forever, it's because they're trying to gather everything that's happening now and make it then. So, you know, if you play their game first, they want, you know, as it comes out for you to be able to play through the game and maybe you see some rough edges, but you know everything else that's going to be good in gaming. So that's what they've always done and why they stayed huge. Hello, friend.
Yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
Answer his questions. Give him the info. I'll answer
On
your
a clear
questions.
day, you chance
So
upon a
classic.
strange animal, its leg trapped in a hunter's claw snare. Judging from the bleeding, it will not survive long. What do you do? One summer afternoon, your father gives you a choice of chores. What would you rather do? Your cousin has given you a very embarrassing nickname, and even worse, likes to call you it in front of your friends. You have asked him to stop, but he finds it very amusing
This
to
is
watch you
actually from
blush.
the last game as well.
What do you do?
That's interesting. So while you can't load a character yet, Mass Effect was the first one that I know of to do that. I'm sure that other people stumbled across it first, but their woven storyline was what made them just so huge, is that every choice that you made not only carried over for storyline nesting in the game, like in Detroit Become Human, for instance, which is what The Witcher does with the side quests, rather than being open world, versus TS, which is completely open world and just guides you using the different things that you can do. You can just settle down here and live. You know, if you just want to have a virtual reality life, this was the first venture into that, and that's why Skyrim went VR so fast. Let's see.
There
Beat up
is
my
a
cousin.
lot of heated
Oh, brother.
discussion at the local tavern over a group of people called telepaths. They've been hired by certain city-state kings.
Another reason they get the
Rumor has it these telepaths read a person's mind and tell their lord whether a follower is telling the truth or not. You believe what?
Oh, I don't believe in that. I lived for the longest time just north of Lilydale, which actually consults with the FBI. And I've been instructed to a certain amount, just by a whole bunch of people in how this works. And a lot of it is really just drawing information out of a person. It is to guide your thoughts, but you can actually do a lot of that by like thought webbing, by, you know, sentence diagramming, by that sort of thing, where you just are actually helping somebody, you know, re-examine evidence and stuff like that. So I actually don't believe in that. Quantum psychology I do believe in, which is actually on the other side of that, and some of them don't. So, interesting conundrum, quantum entanglement, especially. In these times, it's a necessary evil. Nothing to fear from it. Ooh, they kind of do is the problem, because you're throwing darts when you do it that way. It's not that it doesn't help you with the accuracy, it's that it's not what it says it is. Well, I wouldn't disagree
Your mother
with my
sends you
liege
to the
lord.
market with a list of
Here's rules.
goods to buy. After you finish, you find that by mistake a shopkeeper has given you too much money back in exchange for one of the items. What do you do?
You know, ironically, not this. There are a lot of choices in The Witcher. The Witcher is Polish, if you've never run into it. The entire universe, the thought system, the way that the paragraphs are written even, Polish still uses declensions, so there's an underlying storyline, kind of like in the Canterbury Tales, that you can actually go through if you know how to use declensions and see. It's about Ciri, spoiler alert. But there's a morality in that you get a takeaway from, because it involves a system of counting where you actually have to count the sentence structure and stuff like that, and you do that with the natural rhythm of speaking. It's said that Poles sing. That makes this actually very much a part of their structure, like the socialism that's evident in Canada and then also in some of the North regions. This, for instance, would be immediately evil then, so there would be a good and an evil option, in addition to the one that's community-based. and that's actually outside the law. So there's 5 declensions. Irish has that as well. So let's see, return to the store and give shopkeepers hard-earned money.
While in a
I would just do it
marketplace, you
next time around,
witness a
that one.
thief cut a purse from a noble. Even as he does so, the noble notices and calls for the city guards. In his haste to get away, the thief drops the purse near you. Surprisingly, no one seems to notice the bag of coins at your feet. What do you do?
Let's see. I mean, honestly,
Your father sends you on a
would it ever be worth
task
the
which you
trouble?
loathe,
This one is so
cleaning the
American.
stables. On the way there, pitchfork
Is it
in
worth the
hand,
trouble, though?
you run into your friend from the homestead near your own. He offers to do it
the
for
law.
you, in return for a future favor of his choosing. What do you do?
The interesting thing about that one is it's 2 down. So, like, for instance, a noble has certain duties to people, and they have certain duties in return. In the news is people no longer wanting to serve that purpose, possibly because it's defunct, not enough information there. But that seems to be the trend. Your father sends you on a test which you loathe. Okay. He offers to do it for you. Favor of his choosing. Ask him to help you knowing that 2 people decline his offer, accept his offer, reasoning along it. Matters not who does the cleaning.
Your mother asks you to help fix the stove. While you're working, a very hot pipe slips its moorings and falls towards her. What do you do? While in town,
Mom,
the
out of the way,
baker
risk
gives you
the
a
burn.
sweet roll. Delighted, you take it into an alley to enjoy, only to be intercepted by a gang of 3 other kids your age. The leader demands the sweet roll, or else he and his friends will beat you and take it. What do you do?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't give him the sweet roll,
Entering
so
town, you find that
just ornery
you
like
are
that.
witness to a very well-dressed man running from a crowd. He screams to you for help. The crowd behind him seems very angry.
Again, you run into
What
this
do you do?
dichotomy. Well-dressed, are they, America has upper class, which is, we socialize internationally, so that's never anybody else's business. But we don't have that option where we ask for help, whereas in sections of Europe, I think France is kind of the cutoff, but they still have that system where either priests or nobility have this extra, like on top of socializing internationally, they also sort things, generally because they have empires or some sort of system of trade that involves language, so unnecessary ignorance. And that's kind of what really bothers Americans, is we have the Freedom of Information Act, and we really stick with that. The one thing you know is just don't mess with the upper class. Like, duh. So whether or not they're well-dressed in America, you probably shouldn't get involved. It's a really old morality question. Ooh, I'm a warrior. Well, I guess I picked
Very
right
good. The letter that preceded, you mentioned you were born under a certain sign.
Rose?
And what would
Scorpio
that
still?
be?
Oh, how cool. Well, let's see. Where's the one that's closest to the hunter? There we go.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Looks correct to me. Every time he turns, I think his hair is receding. It's like I have Raceland eyes.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
To read your papers, press spacebar and select take. Looks empty to me. Just wanted extra paper. What if I want paper? Write up my own story. Nice tower shield. Oh, Dad, what's up?
Continue
This
through
for
to
me?
the next building and talk to Sellus Gravius.
No. Evidence. Wonder exactly on a scale of 1 to 10 how weird it would be for me to pray at his temple. Would I get docked at the local church? Or on this side of reality. Should learn how to do combat. Pick up the dagger on the table by activating it. Don't think I've forgotten our wager. I want this dagger as sharp as a scamp's claw by morning. Gansicle. It sounds like the guy who took out the Red Rider Kid's eye. Letters, books, and scrolls can be read by equipping them in your inventory menu. Quick the daily. I go to scroll. I swear this mouse option is still making me insane. It was the one thing that, like, I just could not get past. I was like, mice don't do that. They do not serve that function, friend. Oh, hold on, no. Return. So wait, by clicking on the picture. How do I click on the picture? There we go. Oh, no, now I'm just third person. I can't see my face? That makes me sad. Paper, enter. Maybe I should have read that slightly better. 6, 7, 8, 9, PLOMN. Monkey. Oh, what did I just do? Okay, let's get ready to fight. I don't actually know how to equip that, but thank you. Oh my goodness, I am glorious. Would you look at me? Oh, there we go. How is that on my feet? Iron blade. Hold on. Are they saying that I can drop this in my hand? Look at me! I know how to learn things. Oh, I can't wear those. Press F to pull out your weapon. Right. You can eat ingredients by equipping them on your character inventory menu. Ingredients have different properties. Some may hurt you, some may help. This doesn't appear to have a built-in morality scale. The Ultimates warned you up front that they did, so it looks like everything is just up for grabs. They'll probably flag me if that's not the case. If not, then that is what it is. I certainly spent enough time in, I think, both Arena and, oh, let's see what else. Daggerfall. Firmament of Folk. Stars of Tamriel are divided into 13 constellations. 3 of them are major constellations known as the Guardians. This is the Warrior, the Mage, and the Thief. Each of the Guardians protects its 3 charges from the 13th constellation, the Serpent. When the sun rises near one of the constellations, it's the constellation season. Each constellation has a season of approximately 1 month. The Serpent has no season, for it moves about in the heavens, usually threatening one of the other constellations. The Warrior. The Warrior is the first Guardian constellation. He protects charges during their seasons. Warrior's own season is the last seed, when his strength is needed for the harvest. His charges are the Lady, the Steed, and the Lord. Those born under the sign of the Warrior are skilled with weapons of all kinds, but prone to short tempers. The Mage is a Guardian constellation whose season is a rain hand. When Magicka was first used by men, his charges are the Apprentice, the Golem, and the Ritual. Those born under the Mage have more Magicka and talent for all kinds of spellcasting, but are often arrogant and absent-minded. The Thief is the last Guardian constellation, and her season is the darkest month of Evening Star. Her charges are the Lover, the Shadow, and the Tower. Those born under the sign of the Thief are not typically thieves, though they take risks more often and only rarely come to harm. They will run out of luck eventually, however, and rarely live as long as those born under other signs. Serpent wanders about in the sky, has no seasons, though its motions are predictable to a degree. No characteristics are common to all who are born under the sign of the Serpent. Those born under the sign are the most blessed and the most cursed. The Lady is one of the warrior charges, and her season is Heartfire. Those born under the sign of the Lady are kind and tolerant. The Steed is one of the warrior's charges, and her season is mid-year. Those born under the sign of the Steed are impatient and always hurrying from one place to another. The Lord's season is the first seed, and he oversees all of Tamriel during the planting. Those born under the sign of the Lord are stronger and healthier than those born under other signs. The Apprentice season is the sun's height. Those born under the sign of the Apprentice have a special affinity for magic of all kinds, but are more vulnerable to magic as well. The Atronek, often called the Golem, is one of the mage's charges. Its season is the sun's dusk. Those born under this sign are natural sorcerers with deep reserves of magicka, but they cannot generate magicka of their own. The Ritual is one of the mage's charges, and its season is the morning star. Those born under this sign have a variety of abilities depending on the aspects of the moons and the divines. The Lover is one of the Thief's charges, and her season is the sun's dawn. Those born under the sign of the Lover are graceful and passionate. The Shadow's season is second. Seed. The shadow grants those born under her sign the ability to hide in the shadows. Tower is one of the thief's charges, and its season is Frostfall. Those born under the sign of the Tower have a knack for finding gold and can open locks of all kinds. So you can find all sorts of, like I said, I was in a book like that. Just gonna loot like crazy here. I don't know if you've ever been tossed naked into a dungeon by an unknown, unseen voice. How do I pick a lock? Do I not? I might not pick a lock here. Can I pick this lock? No. I have a dagger. I'm gonna go with no. Alright. Wonder what I'm wanted for. Hopefully not theft. They might notice this then. I, on numerous occasions, friend, have been thrown naked into a dungeon by an unseen voice. Crystal balls, men on thrones, you name it. You now have a map menu. It shows you the name of the place you are in and you're facing. Wooden door. Check the barrel to the left and get the ring inside. I guess this is a hard way to do that. Now have a magic menu where you can see all your power spells and magic items. Like all menus, right-click to use your new menu. Click the spell or magic item you want to make your active magic. Press R to ready your active magic, then click to cast. Open the door. Press spacebar to talk to the captain. Select topics to ask about them. Don't try persuasion on him. If you're not good at it, he'll start to dislike you. Well, I don't know about how good Argonians are at charming, but I don't recall it being high. Make sure you ask Celis Gravius. You sound very Roman, sir. First, let me take your identification papers. Thank you. Word of your arrival reached me yesterday. I'm Celis Gravius. My background is not important. I'm here to welcome you to Morrowind. Knight Errant of the Imperial Legion. That's actually a very specific rank, but it's not that I'm aware of a soldier's rank. I could be incorrect. Yes, you're in Morrowind. I don't know why you're here or why you were released from prison and shipped here, but your authorization comes directly from Emperor Uriel Septim VII himself. I don't need to know any more than that. Neither do I, ironically. When you leave this office, you're a free man. Before you go, I have instructions on your duties. Instructions from the Emperors. Pay careful attention. In Morrowind. Uriel Septim is still Emperor. According to my instructions, he's personally authorized your release from prison and your delivery here. That's kind of common in these. It's all very mysterious, but that's the way the Empire works. Silence, secrecy. Let not the left hand know what the right is doing. This package came with news of your arrival. You get to take it to Caius Cosadis in the town of Balmora. Go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for Caius Cosadis. They know where to find him. Serve him as you would serve the Emperor himself. I also have a letter for you and a dispersal in your name. Empire, of course this is the Empire. This is the Vvardenfell district of the province of Morrowind. Morrowind has been part of the Empire for over 400 years. Current Emperor is Uriel Septim, 24th of the Septim line. You've been in prison that long, have you? Nothing wrong with your head, is there? The men said you were acting a little strange when they brought you from the ship. Port to Caius Cosadis in Balmora. Can't tell you where to find him. You're to go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for him. Somewhere there can direct you. So now more on Balmora. More. Take the Silt Strider. Carry passengers. I think that's where they start to cross over into like Star Wars fans. So Morrowind, Balmora, Silt Strider. Is there anything else we haven't hit up here? I think that's everything. Goodbye.
Let's hear it.
What are you doing? We'll let your actions go for now, but once you release stuff like that, we'll get you arrested. Okay, apparently they do have that in place. How embarrassing. Alright, so anyways, I'm an Argonian. I'm gonna go find this Chaos guy. So, let's rock and roll. I'm in Ginger. This is what to play next for anything that's awesome in gaming. We're going back through some of the older TS games. This is actually not indie anymore. This was one of the pioneering games that you know, broke in and broke out, third-person omniscient, first-person perspective, open world, the whole shebang. So if you haven't heard of it, when you look it up, it'll knock your socks off how groundbreaking some of this stuff was. Anyways, figured we'd blast from the past it. Hit the subscribe button, smash it, hit the like. In the description below, there's always a link where you can check out the game for yourself if you're interested. And next to the subscribe button is a share link. So if you do want to talk gaming or whatever, you can share the link for the video with a friend. YouTube is a social network, so we love using it that way. Thank you for coming along for the ride. We had so much fun. We'll see you in the next video, and as always, much love.